Alright lads, this is the Geordie Jedi doing my next game review. FIFA 14, a game that's been out since last September, and for me, probably my most played on game. You know, even if I get a brand new game, I'll play that new game for a week, say, and then I'll usually end up going back on FIFA for a couple of days, and then I'll go back to that game or a new game, or so consistently. FIFA's probably my most played on game. I'll usually get at least a couple of games in over a week, so it's an amazing game. Well, sort of. I'll explain. Now, if you're offline, or if you're even playing a game itself, it's perfect. You know, I mean, there's always glitches, there always will be. It's always it's incredibly intricate. Football is a game, let alone as a video game. As a sport, it's very intricate. So you know, you can't expect absolute perfection. You know, for the referee to get every call right on a video game, because, well, it's not going to happen. The game's going to be open to interpretation. I mean, in fairness to FIFA, it gets the decisions right more often than what they do in real life. So you have to give them a little bit of credit for that, although the announcers can be a bit moronic sometimes. Gameplay is good. They stopped pace being such a big deal, which is both a good and a bad thing. Because I mean, obviously, you know, pacier players would be better than players who had, say, an 87 rating. So long as the person was faster, the person would be better no matter what the rating. In general, that was completely true, and in general, it's right. It is actually right. You know, the majority of people who play in the top leagues are faster than everyone else. You know, they're faster than the majority of centre backs, and a good reason for that is because football is a fast game. You need pace. Pace is the best thing. So that's why it's a bad thing, because it's slightly less realistic in a sense, because pace is the big thing in general football play. It's not the only thing, but it matters quite a bit. Now, what's become OP is on this game is through balls and lobbed through balls. You know, everybody uses them. Everybody can get over the top. It's generally the way the Premier League specifically plays, not the other leagues necessarily. So it is incredibly OP. There's not much you can do about it necessarily, unless your defenders happen to be really good and really on the ball, almost literally. Graphics. Now, I play it on the Xbox 360. I plan to get FIFA 15 on PlayStation 4, but so even on the Xbox 360, the graphics are really, really good. There is a fair difference between FIFA 13 and 14. And then on the next gen, when you see the graphics on that, you can see that they're even better. You know, all the people in the stands are three-dimensional, which wasn't necessarily the case in the Xbox in previous gen. All the players are a little bit more lifelike, a little bit more like themselves. How they look, you know. I mean, obviously you could buy, I don't know, maybe FIFA 10 at least. You could see, you know, which player was which by the face. But in next gen, you can really see the difference. So, well, that's about it, I'd say. On the good points, certainly, at least.
Hey!
What?
You're shit at FIFA.
That's not true.
I bet you just found out about lob through balls.
That's a lie.
I bet you can't even do the roulette.
Stop making up stuff.
I bet you only play semi-pro.
No! Only bad points. Referees can be moronic a lot of the time. I mean, I was once given a penalty for holding a guy off when he was on the halfway line, but the ball was in the penalty box. There's obviously also those fouls when it happens away from the ball, and apparently it isn't a foul either way. You can get cracked across the back of the head stopping a player, and it isn't a foul just because he isn't on the ball. Bullshit. Of course it's a foul. It's if anything, it's more of a red flag. I know it's not necessarily obviously the player's fault if you're playing against an opposing player, a gamer, but still, it's a foul. It seems unfair. I mean, fair enough, don't give them a yellow card, don't give them a red card, but it is a foul. It stopped you from scoring. Doesn't matter if it was intentional or not. So the referees can be absolutely stupid. And the big bad point, FIFA Ultimate Team servers. The amount of shit I've had to deal with. Now, you know, I don't spend millions of coins. I'm not that kind of person. You know, I buy good players. The most I've spent is probably over about 100,000 on a Yaya Toure, which isn't that much. But when you consider how long it took us to find them, it takes ages just to get onto the server to find the person. If you're lucky enough to get the first page of cards, if you try to go on the second page, it'll say there are no more results, even though it will specifically tell you that there is a page too, and a lot more than that. There's also the fact that if you want to find informs, you have to also go through their cards as a gold or silver or as a bronze, whatever. You can only search the player's name. You can't search the player's name plus the fact that he's in form, or plus the fact that he's team of the year or team of the season. You have to go shift through all the normal cards before you can get to an inform, and you have to be lucky enough to find one. I mean, the only way to slightly get around this is by putting the minimum prices up, which doesn't always necessarily work, because there are some idiots who'll think Johan Kabay is worth 20,000 as a gold rare player. So why? Not only that, the amount of trouble you'll have by being disconnected during the game you win, and that's happened to me before. It's counted as a 3-0 loss when I was 2-0 up, all because EA is disconnected us for whatever reason. It's cost us the Ultimate Team League 1 Season 1 title before. I was going for it, and then I ended up getting relegated because it happened more than once. So that's a bit of a piss take. So then obviously there was a whole point when for some reason if you had an 84 rated player, he'd go down to 0 somehow to a bronze, and you know, you'd have no idea why. There was just so much wrong with the Ultimate Team servers. Didn't have this problem in FIFA 13 as much, or FIFA 12. Personally, I think it's because they're trying to sort out the next gen and the previous gen consoles at the same time, which is fair enough. It's not necessarily their fault. However, this shouldn't be too difficult. I don't understand why it takes so much upkeep to keep it running day to day. I mean, you know, fair enough if you're going to take it down, I don't know, for a few hours every month to check everything's alright, but I don't understand how it can degrade this much. I know it will degrade, but how this much and how this often? I have no idea. Anyways, overall, I'd probably give the game 9 out of 10 simply because apart from the Ultimate Team, which unfortunately is the main draw, the game is pretty good. There isn't much wrong with it if you're playing it normally, and also because it's the best sports game out there. That's not saying it's, you know, the best game ever, because it isn't. You know, nowhere near. But it's the best sports game. It's the most realistic sports game out there. It's tough unless you count Gran Turismo's. So 9 out of 10. It's been the Geordie Jedi. Leave a like if you want, subscribe if you want. May the force be with you.